For the next one, I have an idea. There's a picture in my head, and I got really, really lucky at the secondhand shop. So, first thing is it's not a wearable mock-up. She's wearing it right now. I'm about to show you. But it was testing the idea. So, let's do that. Here is testing the idea. So, this is the closest to a half a circle I could get out of the fabric left over after we patched the comforter, right? And then I made a little collar out of the remnants from the corners. Will you twirl, Angel? So a half circle makes the cape shaped like that, which I love. But let's see if it'll still do it. If you take and try and work that with the half circle, turn baby, then there's a lump in the back because it needs to get wider faster than it does, which, you know, with this one I solved by making it open in the front and adding beads and more beads. And actually it was all gonna be the shiny beads and I ran out, so I used the less shiny beads, and then I finished them up by adding them on the previous cloak in the middle of the poppies. So yay, they're all used up. But this added weight, that added weight, that just added pretty. And then yeah, this ensures that it's open enough that there's not a weird lump in the back. But with our idea, we need to not need that necessarily, yeah? And today on What the Hell is the Matter with Me, I seem to have decided I want to make a pattern for the picture in my head. So, not this way. We're cutting, I guess I'll go wave it around in front of the mirror. I just realized I have no idea what the size of human neck is. Not this, but this honestly has a point in the back and on the front corners from my lackadaisical cutting, but I like it. And the folds will theoretically help with piecing. Now to get a neck piece that might fit a neck. Okay, so like the intersection here is, I'm about to use a lot of tape and little weirdness to smooth out this intersection, and I still haven't solved the issue of the bump in the back. I was trying to picture shapes, and I think I'm just not that good at it yet, and maybe I ought to plan on a pleat in the back. I think I can accept that. But if we ignore that stupid rolled up piece and do one back, and there's a bunny treat on the floor, and two fronts and two shoulders, that'll make a cloak, right? Yeah? If, for instance, a person watches too much Closet Historian and takes a couple random angular pieces and cuts them into smoother pieces, that's not a lot of curve. This is annoying. All of these are going to be almost a pie piece, but not quite. Is the neck piece supposed to be a circle too? Can't I just pretend necks are cylinders? I'd never do that in a painting, but you know what? Like everything else on this channel, if my flagrant half-butting of everything actually pans out, you can be sure that anything you do can turn out at least as well, because, why can't I just cut another half circle? Because I didn't like the line of the collar. Alright, onward. So the first bit of luck at the secondhand shop was this silk. Now to cut it out with these stubborn curled things. I suspect the idea of a pattern was more of a security blanket than anything else. Next up, linen, because that silk's not strong enough to support all the beads I want to add. So we know I'm used to rectangular construction, so like pattern pieces are appallingly wasteful. All the skinny little bits, but you can see why I'm at least trying this to see if it works. The way each of the little, like this would be continuing wedge shape, but it's not, so maybe it'll be worth it. That doesn't have purple under it because I have to piece the lining, which, yeah, that's cool. It's just one more detail. So, big half circle with neck. what? I have no clue how people manage to keep all their pieces in a pattern straight. All of these are triangles. I mean, I can figure out the front one well enough, but every time I go to sew things together, I have to lay every stinking piece out and double check that I'm putting them Anyway, my lazy butt is doing something that's not bag lining. Flat lining. See, I just sandwiched everybody together. And I'm tacking the seam down like always. We're going to beat the crap out of this, don't worry. So everything will be nice and secure, and I don't want it to be reversible anyway, but look at that. It could, if I'd actually matched the thread, it could have been reversible. Huh, wacky. You know, actually I take that back because I'm pretty sure that I'm going to bind the edges instead of hemming them. But either way, the purple side would have a copper outline, which would make it slightly less reversible, I think. Ugh. Alright, so ignoring the fact that the edges aren't tied together, I swear that neck piece was not friggin' Lestat with the... So... And I want it to... swear the neck piece was not that little, and I gave myself plenty of seam allowance. I'm gonna sleep on this. Two decisions. One, at some point in another video, I will take my child and do a masking tape pattern and figure out what shape I actually needed. And that will be very informative and very interesting. Two, I'm going to put a triangle right here on either side. Let me show you that. So, well, I mean, it would be a triangle, but since none of these shapes make any damn sense, I'm putting a kink in it, and I will line up the corner with the corner in an attempt to make it so this does not just flop. So the corner lined up with the corner, and this will get trimmed because it was too dang tall in the front, and then I'll probably try thing on again and see what I have done. Why am I trusting myself with shapes? It's fun, right? Oh, this is the piecing on the lining. And not to make a liar out of myself again in this video, but I tried on the thing. It is much improved, and decided I didn't feel like cutting any more pieces out of my silk or any more pieces at all, really. Honestly, I want to be beading, so I just started double fold hemming the whole way around the shape. So let me finish this and I'll put it on my kid and you can see what the starting point is. Are we starting? Is it, yeah, maybe. Alright, his thing. Purely by luck, this from the edge of the collar down to the point kind of ends up being a vertical line. Maybe multiple ties. Maybe a kind of corset front. I don't know. The lines of it are pretty. Would you turn around, darling? Pretty lines of it. And I can't wait to put the beads on it. Why are you eating my firefly? Firefly. Why? Why are you like this? Anyway, stop it. Somehow or another, the lump here didn't happen. I decided I can't fix that. Don't worry about it. And it just kind of goes away. Firefly. Excuse you. Stop eating my clothes.
Don't eat my clothes either.
And then there'll be something interesting on the point here and on the points on the front. But next up, beads. Look, that shape came out really cool. These are my other got lucky at the secondhand shop. and are the inspiration for this whole mess, honestly. Look at them. Unfortunately, they have a teeny tiny hole, so I'm gonna have to use the beading needle. And then to go with them, I don't know. These are really heavy. I don't know if the blue works, but the coppery color makes me kind of want to consider it. There's a bunch of those. Only a few of these, but they're heavy. But the texture is going to be fantastic. Houston, I might know why these were at the secondhand shop. Can't get it over the collapsible eye of my beading needle. That sucks. The universe is laughing at me. Also, Foster Bunny just had a Zoom meeting with a potential adopter, so wish me luck on that. It turns out where's the hole? About half of these have holes that are too small to use, and about half of them do not. I'll have to take my word on that. Let me grab another one. So I figured I'd do my original plan, which is apply them around the shoulders. And while I was doing that, I could, think about what on earth I want to do, what this is going to look like. But we know that's kind of how I work anyway. There's no coherent plan to start with. So I decided to take the, purplish teeny tiny beads and use those as, would you consider it filler? Let's see, we're aiming for, trying to be a little symmetrical. Okay, we're aiming for right here now. Would you consider it filler? I think I would, because it's not like I can do the insane encrusted picture in my head, even if I had the ability to put a needle through all these beads that hate me. So we need other beads. We need varying textures. And also I have a really cool idea that it would be easier to show you than tell you, so I should probably stop my, oh there, see, that one went on easy. It's laughing at me. Look how pretty. Two things I should have said. I'm sewing straight through the lining because the point of the lining was the silk can't support the weight of the beads I intend, so straight through, not even worrying about it. Also, the whole bag was these purplish beads, and then I stirred in some mixed colors because the diversity in the colors, like you want a dominant color, but you want just enough unevenness. And this was just hanging out in the bowl anyway. I don't know where it came from or what, or if this is the project it'll get used on. It was just in the bowl because there's bowls of beads all over my life. So I put a fair number of the beads from earlier away, right? And then I remembered that these existed, and I think they're buttons, but I think they look kind of like teeth. And so I wanted to rummage them out. And while I was doing that, found these, which are amazing but don't quite fit. So there's the teeth option, there's the metallic colored beads in this mix. I don't know if I want to open the bag. I found these first, and it's like, why do they look like bone chips? Are chips of bone a look we're going for with this? Maybe? I don't know. Oh, another tiny metal that could go with this tiny metal. These are heavier. I think the bronzy ones are nicer, but if we want fringe, they might work well together. I think that was everything I pulled to show you. But come to think about it, none of that's what I mentioned earlier as an idea. Earlier what I mentioned as an idea is, okay, I was complaining about having scraps of this. I have a few scraps of this. Have this, which is pretty, but horrible to the touch, right? So I think I'm going to cut things up and make little twiggy and leafy shapes, and I'll be back to show you how that goes. I'm just wandering back and forth with the piece of thread, adding, ooh, there's a big one. Come here, you. Adding beads, yeah. And fuck. I'm just wandering back and forth with a piece of thread, building up the density of the beads. And I think I'm just about ready to move on to something different, which would be the, I don't know, leafy bits or feathers. Anyway, some kind of diamond down the back is what I've decided on while wandering and slowly adding more beads. Now, one thing I have decided is that I wish I'd just done the half circle cloak with probably a hood instead of a collar, knowing me, and that would have simplified early stages. But I did learn, and that's what's important. Yeah. So finish up this thread, and then maybe we can move on to something slightly different, and then we'll return to beads, because going back and forth makes it more interesting and therefore more long-term doable. There we go. So, see, as I scribble back and forth, things get denser, and will continue to do so. In the back, with the fabric mess, I want a really textured, raw sort of mane made out of, I don't know, look like leaves maybe, and then integrating with the tooth-like beads so that the fabric chaos can fade up to the shining bead chaos, right? So if I center it right, if I was being responsible, I'm sure I'd lay everything out carefully on the floor, take a picture of it, number all these. No. I'm just going to start layering. And I mean, it'll be more chaotic that way, yeah. It seems likely. Oh, with the scraps, I decided that purple and green worked with our kind of metallic oil slick chaos. So I just took actual factual scraps and then slightly larger scraps that I cut into triangles and squares, and hemmed them because I don't want little pieces falling off. This way. And that's our starting point. And I'm just going to build it up the same way I'm building up the beads. Organically? Is that an appropriate use of the term? Quite possibly. Goodness, this is going to be dramatic. I need a copper one next, don't I? Or maybe like there? Yeah, that integrates. I knew there was a reason I thought these were buttons. Who mixed all those pieces together? Anyway, there. I just realized I could do dangly beads in the mane, couldn't I? The child's standing all crooked now. Hopefully she wasn't standing crooked when I was trying to get something like symmetry going. Tweak. There we go. So, I think the vibe is Fairy Queen. Very messy Fairy Queen. So, Paloma, you seem kind of weirdly obsessed with cloaks at the moment. And that is because I think that a cloak can take an outfit that I would be comfy in, would wear to the grocery store, and drop a cloak on top of it, and it turns into something that I could wear to the Ren Fair. So, on the theory that that is correct, and it will be correct for this year anyway, I'm not doing any cohesive looks or anything. I'm just, crap, I hope I was in frame. I'm just taking pieces of fabric to drop over me and other people, because one size fits everyone in the party is nice. Oh, we need another. What do you think? That maybe? That work? Of course, the bottom of the situation needs some kind of edge treatment, right? And my plan was couching with this, which is obviously stupid and entirely the wrong color, right? Why is there hay on my trim? And so I decided to completely disregard all the lessons I learned about please do not try and sew pieces of fabric to the edges of stupidly shaped garments, and I'm sewing a piece of fabric to a stupidly shaped garment. So far it's going just fine. And I mean, the color's perfect. This is gonna get folded probably that far, so no stupid white bit there. See? Alright, this is really flippin' annoying. So if you're making scales or, come on you, or feathers or leaves or whatever, you might want to weight the tips, because when you move around when you're wearing this, some of the sleeves flip up, and I don't like how it looks when they're flipped up. So I'm putting just a few beads at the tip of every single one of them to put some weight there so they still move. They're not sewed down, but gravity is helping a little bit. Let's see, this, I just tried it on the kidlet. It looks completely insane. I love it. It weighs a ton. I should check how much it weighs. And we're just doing one tie in the center of the vertical part. And, oh, these, I did manage to, crap, and there it is. Sorry. This, I took the beads and kind of bored the hole open a little bit and managed to get the needle through. So I did manage to affix all of them without having to resort to swirls of copper wire. Moving on. I very carefully sewed a pocket just to the lining layer, which was a pain in the butt, but it's done, and put tassels, beaded tassels, you can see how that works, on the front corners, not on the back corner, because I want to pull weight to the front, and also I don't want to sit on a tassel, that would hurt. So, reveal sounds good. Are you recording, Angel Muffin?
Yes.
Yes? Were you going to tell me at some point?
I was.
Ta-da!
Pocket.
Alright, let's put it on you. My child, who is utterly unimpressed by all things. Little trouble. Alright. So, the metallic border, the utterly insane bead situation, the leaves situation with the bead weights on them. Love it. Love, love, love. Twirl for me, little one.